So we are going to start comfortably seated. That can be legs outstretched. It can be legs, soles of feet together, cross-legged, whatever works for you. But just settle into that comfortable seat once you arrive. Allowing the hands to be on the knees with the palms facing downward, giving a little bit of grounding. Allowing the sits bones to root deeply. And start to become aware of the spaces that are in contact with the mat. So the outside edges of the feet, the sits bones, maybe the outer thighs and the hips, perhaps some of the shin, pending how your legs are settled. And then from there, let's draw the shoulders up to the ears and relax them down the back. It broadens the collarbones and descends the shoulder blades. And start to feel as if you are solidly rooted in one place. When I teach my preschoolers, my little preschool yogis, who I haven't seen in quite some time, I always tell them to think about themselves like a sunflower this time of year. So they're rooted and they're reaching down from their belly button right down through the sits bones. But from the belly button up through the crown of the head, they're growing and opening and broadening, reaching toward the sky. So with every breath in, imagine you're growing tall. And with every breath out, imagine if you were a sunflower, that your shoulders are like the petals just slowly opening and releasing. You just feel this rhythm of lift and release over and over again with each breath. And as the body becomes still and the breath becomes rhythmic, allow the mind to focus on the center of your forehead. And imagine at the center of your forehead that there's this busy whiteboard, all of your thoughts being rapidly jotted down. But with every breath in, we wipe the board clean. And with every breath out, we kind of wash it down. Any remnants release and remove themselves. You're breathing in, you're erasing, allowing thoughts to simply be acknowledged but not jotted onto that whiteboard. And every breath out, simply allowing that white space to settle in. And now imagine that you could picture yourself grabbing one of your whiteboard markers and writing one word that means something to you today, whatever that might be. Just one word, your intention for your practice. Breath, peace, flexibility, whatever it might be today. And we'll keep returning to that image as we practice. So take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow the chin to drop down to the chest. Feeling a gentle stretch over the back of your neck. And breathing in, allow the arms to rise up overhead, interlacing your fingers and drawing the heels of the hands down around the base of the skull. Let the elbows wrap around the temples, feeling that stretch over the back of your neck. Whether we know it or not, most people do tend to hold some tension up in this part of their body, up in the neck and the traps. And whether we think we're tense or not, there is some repetitive muscle memory that stays locked in there. Let's drop the hands to the knees, bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Drop the chin through the chest, bring the left ear to the left shoulder. And drop the chin to the chest one last time. Take a deep breath in, let the head rise to neutral, and as you breathe out, blink the eyes open. We're going to take the right hand down, and normally we would reach the left arm all the way up. We're going to take it behind the head today. So let's lean into that right hand, let the elbow bend, and you're just going to stretch the side of the waist here. And then from there, push that left elbow back. So where you're going to feel that is where the chest and the shoulder meet. Good. Inhale, both arms rise up. Exhale, left hand down, right hand behind the head. Bending left elbow as you reach over. So again, it's not leaning. It's thinking about sending the lowest rib up off of the hip and then pressing the right rib cage to the right. So the stretch comes over those intercostals, and we press the right elbow back a little bit, again, getting that space where chest and shoulder meets. And coming back through center, let the hands interlace behind the back. Now, ideally, the heel of the hand will touch. Even if that means your elbows bend, that's fine. What we want to do is think about broadening the collarbones and sending the pinky side of the hand back only as far as feels therapeutically comfortable, so that therapeutic discomfort point rather than pain. And slowly drop down. You're going to see that bind in the hands quite a bit tonight as we get across the front of the chest. So now, right hand comes to the floor again. We are going to lift up. Think about lifting, again, that rib cage away from the hip and not extending so much that the shoulder rises to the ear. Maybe a soft bend in the elbow. Let's open up as we breathe in. Peel the elbow back at the same time. Good. Close. Reach as if you want to touch the floor over that right knee. Inhale, rise, open, peel back. Exhale, close, reach as if tapping. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Good. Both arms rise on the breath in. Interlace your hands, press the palms upward. Again, gentle bend in the elbows as you push back through the pinky side of your hand. Letting the left hand release, right arm reaches, keeping the shoulder released away from the ear. As you breathe in, open, push the elbow back. Feel that across your chest. As you breathe out, close. Reach deeper than you normally would, as if you're going to tap the pinky to the floor. Inhale, open up. Good. Exhale, close and reach as if tapping. Inhaling, open. And exhale, close and reach last time. This time, both arms up. Again, we're going to interlace the hands, but this time, heels of the hands to back of head. Push the back of the head into the hands and peel the elbows open. Imagine that with the thumb, the base of your thumb, you could draw up through the occipital ridge of the skull. Just drawing up as the elbows draw back. So you're feeling a lift through the head and an opening across the chest. And slowly release down. Let's take the hands behind us. Fingertips are going to face inward. And you're going to send the hips toward your heels. Then from there, push into the floor and open up across the chest. Now, if this is too much on the wrists, you can always turn the hands the other way, because the wrists tend to get a little bit crabby in that position. Nice deep breath in across that open chest, and full breath out. Relaxing that here. We're going to find ourselves in tabletop pose, however is easiest for you to get there. Lifting onto hands and knees. Now, we did see this on Tuesday. We're going to take that reach and twist. Left hand to center, right arm inhales, reach. Exhale, push and twist. Inhale, reach. Good, exhale, push and twist. Last time we're gonna reach up. Stay open this time. And you're gonna take the hand to the small of the back. Roll the front of the shoulder open. You don't have to twist much deeper, but just get across the chest. And then slowly you will thread underneath that left arm and extend your left fingertips out in front of you. Now, if you tent the left fingertips and lift up that palm, you'll feel a little bit more activity in the inner shoulder on the left side. Slowly slide that left hand back underneath your elbow. Drop your right hand to the center of the mat and inhale, rise up. Good, exhale, thread. Your breath, your movement. I'm just guiding. Inhale and exhale. Last time we rise up, open up. Hand comes to small of back if it is comfortable on your shoulder. Otherwise, keep reaching. And peel front of shoulder toward the back. Slowly release down, thread underneath the right arm. Shoulder drops, temple drops. Right fingertips reach out in front of you. If you want a little more in that right shoulder, tent the fingers. And sliding the hand once again underneath your elbow. Drop that left hand underneath left shoulder. And let's find a cat-cow here, belly drawing down, chest lengthening. And then round out through your spine. Again, belly draws down, chest lengthens. Round out through your spine. Last time here, belly will draw down, chest will lengthen. From here, walk it out to happy puppy. So the hips stay over the knees. You drop the chest down through the shoulders, and if the shoulders are problematic tonight, bend the elbows or drop the forearms and simply let the collarbones broaden. Slowly, we're going to slide forward onto our bellies. We'll take the hands out beside us, fingertips tent. Lift up through the chest, drop your left shoulder as you look right. Be very mindful of that small muscle group right at the front of the shoulder. Inhale to come through center, and exhale, drop over and look over your left shoulder. Good, now you'll come right back to center. Relax your forehead down. My face will stay lifted just so I can speak. Interlace your hands behind your back. Forehead is on the floor. Now, tops of feet press into the floor, forehead presses into the floor. All you're going to do is reach your knuckles back towards your heels. Think about the upper arm bones rolling open toward one another on the back. Relax your hands, palms face up. Bring your left ear to the mat and look right. Slowly come through center, forehead again resting to the mat. This time as you interlace, you're going to lift your chest and imagine there's a little suction cup right on the back of your head. It's just pulling the head up without the chin moving. So you're not hinging from your neck, in other words. If your low back hurts here, pull the belly button into the spine. That will release it. Release down this time. Hands relaxed. Take your right ear down. Look left. And come back through center. Hands are going to come underneath your shoulders. Let your thumbs come towards your lowest ribs and pull your elbows into your side ribs. From here, send your chest open and up as you come into a gentle cobra. You do not have to come high. If you feel your low back, pull the belly button in. We're here for 2 more breaths. Collarbones peeling open. And then come right back and find a child's pose. Tonight in your child's pose, instead of the arms outstretched with palms down, we're going to flip the palms upward, thumbs facing the outer edges of the mat. Feel how that changes the stretch in the shoulders. Slowly plant those palms again, rise up, walking your hands back now so you stand on the knees. We're going to take the right foot forward and drop your hips forward and down as we come into a lunge. Good, let the arms rise up, palms touch. Drop the thumbs to the nape of the neck. Lift up as if cradling that head, again, right at the occipital ridge, and then draw back and open. Feeling that space right across the chest as it opens up. Now inhale, rise, and as you exhale, hands to hips, straighten your right leg and fold over, getting into that hamstring. So again, if balance is not your friend, you take your fingertips either to the floor, blocks, or a book, maybe a piece of furniture if it's handy. Send your chest towards your big toe. As we inhale, we're going to rise up once again. This time you're going to grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Pulling up and over, feeling that come deeper into your hip and up across your oblique. And again, imagine your shoulder blade kind of rolling and dropping down the back a little bit, and you'll feel even more across the front of the chest. Slowly release left hand to the earth. Right arm will reach up and open. And then just as we did when we were threading the needle, you're going to take the hand to the small of the back and peel the chest open in this twist. And slowly back to center. Both hands to the earth. Draw right foot back in line with left and find a cat-cow to reset. Coming back to your neutral spine, walk the hands forward, happy puppy once again. Finding your variation that works in your body. And sliding all the way down to the earth, belly down, forearms on the earth. This time, upper arm bones come up to the ears as if they are tent posts, and you drop your head heavy. So now we're coming around the shoulder, looping into the traps, looping into some of the myofascial tissue around that area. If you are not feeling this little Vulcan grip, you either want to walk your hands closer toward one another or bring your elbows out slightly so they're just in front of the shoulder line. Slowly press into your forearms as you rise the head up, taking the hands once again beside your ribs, thumbs beside the ribs. Roll the shoulders in and lift the chest up, cobra pose. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, child's pose. This time in child's pose, palms come to touch. Bend the elbows, thumbs to nape of neck. Feeling that underneath the shoulders. And then slowly releasing, rising up and walking those hands back so you're standing on the knees. You'll take your left foot forward this time. Hips drop forward and down. Lift the arms up, palms come to touch. Drop the thumbs to nape of neck, cradle the head, imagine lifting it up and drawing the chest back. Tiny back bend here. And only if it feels good in the body. If it's too much, don't take the back bend, just lift up. Inhale, arms rise, and as you exhale, come back into the half split. Hands to hips, floor or blocks. Knowing that balance can be found if we pull the navel into the spine and take our gaze slightly forward to a non-moving object on the floor. As we inhale, we're going to let the arms rise. Grabbing hold now of your right wrist with your left hand, reaching up and over, creating space across the hip flexor on the right side. And letting that right hand drop down. Left arm will rise up into the twist. And you'll take the left hand, again if it feels okay, to the small of the back, rolling that shoulder open. Slowly take both hands to the floor. You're going to send that left foot back in line with the right foot and find a cat-cow to reset. Slowly come to neutral. Again, last time walking into happy puppy. Now you can hang out in happy puppy, or you can advance it a bit by taking the palms to touch like we've been doing and bringing the thumbs to the nape of the neck. That's going to get pretty deep into the triceps and into the back muscles of the rotator cuff. There are 4 in the rotator cuff. I won't bore you with the anatomy, but they all work together. So from there, release the hands, slide down onto your belly. And we're going to take the right arm out by our side, like half of the letter T, and take the thumb next to the rib on the left. From here, roll to your right hip. Now, this should feel pretty, it might be tight, but it should feel pretty good after opening up as we've done. So that if the top leg, the leg that's on top as you're rolled, wants to drop over to the floor, sole down, you can do that. Just gives a little bit more weight to the stretch. We're here for 2 more breaths, so play with your body position, whatever feels right. Both soles can come down, hands can meet behind you. And then right back through center. Taking the right hand by the right rib cage, left arm out. Roll to your left hip. Letting that top leg, which would be the right one, drop back behind you only if it feels okay on the shoulder. Not forgetting to breathe. Again, therapeutic discomfort is the place where we can still find our solid, slow breath. And let's come back through center. Let the thumbs come by the lowest ribs, pull the elbows in toward the sides, and lift the chest up as you broaden the collarbone. Good. Send your hips back, child's pose. This time, hands are going to walk to the upper right corner of the mat as you push back through your left hip. Slowly come back through center, walking those hands over now to your left as you push back through your right hip. And come back through center, coming through hands and knees and onto knees standing. We're going to take eagle wrap through the arms, and the easiest way to do this is to take the arms out like the letter T. Let's take the left arm under the right arm. You're going to cross and twist. You have options here. You can either take a hug or you can wrap the forearms. Let's step the right foot forward into a lunge as we do this. So as the hips sink down, think of the fingertips and elbows pushing up. Even if you're in a hug, elbows push up and forward. Imagine you're actively drawing the shoulder blades down your back. And then slowly hands come to hips. We come into that half split once again. Flexing the toes back toward the face. Hugging that little imaginary grapefruit we've talked about before so that the neck is not creating tension. And then slowly back to your lunge. Both hands this time come inside. You're going to take your left hand and keep it on the floor, right hand to the knee, open up here in this twist. Peeling open, let the elbow wrap down into the shoulder and breathe across the stretch in the inner thigh. Now with your left shoulder, I want you to think about letting the shoulder draw up to the ear, right? So you're kind of collapsing into the joint, and then push actively. Feel how that activates that shoulder, right? We're gonna drop down, let it just be loose, and then push up. Stay engaged, soften your elbow and feel how the muscles engage rather than just hanging into the joint. Come back through center with the hands. Draw your right knee in line with your left knee. Walk your hands back. Standing on the knees, arms out. Right arm under left arm, cross and twist. Fingertips up, left foot forward as hips drop down. So the hips are dropping, the fingers are reaching, and the shoulders are drawing down. Again, hugging the shoulders is a perfectly normal option here. The twisting can be a little bit rough on range of motion. One more breath here. Release your hands, take them to the hips, and find that half split as we open that hamstring. Let's slowly come back into the lunge. Both hands come to the earth to start. Keeping the right hand where it is, left hand will come to knee. Peel the knee open. Let the elbow wrap into the side ribs. And just breathe into that stretch through the inner thigh. Now again, we're going to come into those three little kind of mini push-ups. Drop into the shoulder joint. Push up, engage. Drop in and push up, engage. Last time, drop in. Now, as you push up and engage, soften your elbow just a tiny bit and notice how the muscles engage. And then let the hands come down inside that left foot. Come back to hands and knees and walk your hands behind you. Or excuse me, walk your hands back. Now I was ahead of myself in my brain. Hands are gonna come behind you now, just as we did when we were on the floor. Draw the knuckles down and back. Pull the belly button into the spine so that the low back is protected as you begin to reach the fingers back behind you. This time, let's take the chin down to the chest. And slowly release. Taking the right foot forward, finding that lunge one more time, dropping into the hips. So from here, now that our hamstrings are warm and the shoulders are really open, we're going to drop that left hand down. Right hand is going to come to the knee. Peel the knee open as we did just in the last sequence, and find your twist. Now you can stay here, or you can take the next progression, which would be to bend the left knee, reach back and grab the left foot. So it might be easier if I show that to you from the side. From your lunge, you take the twist and then you grab for the quad stretch, which will also pull that shoulder into a nice stretch. If you have a strap or a belt of some sort, you could loop that as well. And release the foot. If you have it, release the hands. Draw back. Find a cat-cow, reset the spine. Walk your hands back. Step forward with the left leg and let the hips drop down. Right hand comes to the earth, left hand allows that knee to peel open. Start there And then maybe reach back. I've always said it might have longer arms than I should. I have like a really big wingspan for some reason. So body proportion does in fact have a lot to do with this. It's a little easier for me to touch my toes with my female gorilla arms. You're gonna release that hand down. Slide that left knee beside your right knee. And this time, simply come into a cat back, rounding the spine. We've been doing a lot that flexes. We're gonna go ahead and extend, or a lot that extends. We're gonna do a lot to flex now. Push your hips back towards your heels a bit. Shift your weight to your left side, so you're pushing that left hip over to your left heel. Come back through center, stay rounded in the spine, walk your hands to the left and your hips to the right. And then come right back through center, hands and knees. Scapular push-ups now. We're gonna think about, very similar to what we did when we were single arm dropping and pushing, same idea. Shoulder blades draw toward one another as the chest drops down, and then push up. So you're rounding the space between the blades. Drop that space down, let your wings lift up off of your back, and then place the wings onto your back as you send the spine up between them. One more time, draw down, and then lift up. Walk your hands out. One final happy puppy as we transition to the floor. You'll be in happy puppy for a full breath cycle in and a full breath cycle out. And then we're gonna shift all the way to the floor. So we've done a lot to open across the chest and the arms, done a lot to open the hip flexors. We're going to lean to our right side and reach for the right foot with the right hand. So you're on the pinky toe edge of the foot as you draw that heel toward the buttock bone. Now when you do that, if you press the front of the hip into the floor, you'll feel a bit more quad stretch there. Just letting that quadricep open. Again, a strap is handy here if you need to extend the reach to the foot. If you have a grip on the foot, you're going to change the way you're gripping. So now you come to the big toe edge of the foot, so your thumb is on that side. If you have a strap, stay right where you are. Now let your forehead rest down as you kick up into the leg, up and back through the foot, stretching not only the quad, but again through the shoulder. And slowly release down. Making a pillow with your forearms, rest your forehead, and bend both knees to windshield wiper the feet. Relaxing your legs down the mat. You're going to lean to your right as you reach back with your left hand, grabbing hold of the foot on the pinky toe edge and bringing the heel toward the buttock bone. And then push the hip into the floor. From there, you're going to peel open, changing the grip if you have your hand to the foot. And then rest your forehead down as you kick the foot up. And release. Making that pillow, you're going to windshield wiper your feet. And slowly release down. Let your thumbs come by the side ribs. Draw your chest up and open as you come into cobra pose. And then come back to child's pose for one full breath cycle here. Any hand variation that you would like. Palms down, palms up, or thumbs to nape of neck. We're going to come onto our backs now. Actually, onto our seat, so not all the way down. Not yet. Finding that stretch that we took before, we're going to take a reverse tabletop pose. So your feet are underneath, your heels, I should say, are underneath your knees. Your wrists are under your shoulders, fingertips facing in. Press into the floor, broaden across the chest, and then lift those hips up as far as they will go. Feel that into your chest, into your shoulders. And then slowly release that down. Wrap the hands around your knees and drop into a rounded spine here, tucking the chin. Slowly lift up. We're going to take that again. This time, completely optional, maybe adding a little bit of bend in the elbows. We're going to be here for 5 breaths. So maybe doing a little bit of tricep work. If tricep work with the hips lifted is too much, take it right here with the hips down, okay? Stabilizing the shoulder. Lift up, only if you're lifting. And then again, elbows perhaps bend and press for 4 more, and 3, 2, last one, all the way down to the seat. If you're not there already, round the spine. And rise up. We're going to let our forearms drop down, so we're on bent elbows, right? And then walk your cheeks up over the backs of your hands, so you're kind of laying right on them, right? You can keep the feet, the knees bent, feet on the floor, or you can extend the legs down. Push into the forearms and the elbows lift the chest. Chin can stay tucked or head can drop back. If you wish to take it further, you're going to slide back so that the head drops to the floor, taking fish pose. Deep opening across chest and shoulders. We're here for 2 more breaths. And slowly release down. Easiest way to release is to kind of roll that chin and then slowly rock off of those hands. Taking the soles of the feet to the floor. You're going to walk your heels in so that the middle finger almost touches the heel, and let the palms roll open. From here, press into the heels, lift your hips up. Now, you can either stay here and grab the outside edges of your mat, pulling down toward heels, or you can wrap the hands under the body and interlace the hands. Drawing the knuckles down toward your heels and pressing the forearms into the earth to lift the hips even higher in bridge pose. Release that down. Just windshield wiper the knees gently from side to side. Coming back to center, 2 more bridges now. Your choice as to your hand position. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, wrap the shoulders open, feeling the blades come toward one another under the body. Whatever feels right for you. 2 more breaths. And release again, rolling down 1 vertebrae at a time. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And coming back through center. Now, a lot of times if we'd done a rigorous practice, at this point I would offer wheel, so it's a full back bend. But tonight we're going to stay away from wheel just to protect the shoulders. But if, at home, when you do practice this again, if you feel like you want to take it and you know the practice, go for it. Let's lift up through the hips. Find your expression of bridge. Always pressing the back of the head into the floor, lifting the chin away from the chest. And releasing down. This time, draw the knees into the chest and circle 3 times in each direction. Changing directions if you haven't already. And then hugging those knees in toward your chest as the elbows bend out to the sides. Feel that really flatten the low back. Extend your left leg all the way down the mat. Take your right leg across the body to the left. Now you can hang out right here. We are pretty open through the quads, through the shoulder. If you wish, you can bend the left leg and reach for the pinky toe edge of the foot. It's called cat grabbing its tail. And then by kicking into that hand, you're opening your shoulder one last time. Little pretzel-y, so your choice. Wherever you are, release any binds that you've created and come back to center. Let both legs simply draw upward and take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, right leg down, left knee in. Cross the left leg over the body to the right. Your choice, you can stay in the twist. You can add the quad stretch. And slowly unwind. Let both legs come up. And simply release here down through the hips. Feeling the weight of the bones drop into the sockets of the hips. And slowly release those feet down to the floor. We're going to extend the legs out and take the legs over to the left corner of your mat. Crossing your right ankle over your left ankle. Draw the hands behind you, interlace your fingers, press the palms back. Reach to your left. So you're making this little banana curve from your ankles to your wrists. Stretching underneath that right arm. And if you want a little more stretch, press the elbow and shoulder blade back to the earth a bit. And don't forget to breathe. Inhale, recognize where the discomfort lies. Exhale, soften places that are holding on to the tension created by that discomfort. Slowly draw back through center, both knees into the chest. Deep breath in. You're going to roll up off the floor, press the forehead in toward the knees. And as you breathe out, again, extend your legs, this time reaching them to the right side of the room, crossing left ankle over right ankle. Arms come back behind you, press the palms back and reach right. So what you don't want is to lift your left shoulder and kind of reach your bicep across your face. Try and keep both blades to the floor and simply reach so you're bending from the side of the waist. And letting that left shoulder and elbow kind of actively press to the floor. Slowly draw through center, both knees into your chest. Rolling up, pressing forehead into knees, and then releasing all the way down. Resting and relaxing here. Finding anything that will make your Shavasana more comfortable, maybe an eye pillow, maybe a blanket if you happen to have AC on and it's chilly. Whatever will allow you to be most still. And as you arrive on the mat, simply feel your body. Notice your heels on the earth. Scan the feet from the heels to the tips of the toes and perhaps notice places that might be able to release even more. Wiggle the toes to allow that release to happen. Scan up the body through the ankles. Perhaps the ankles allow the feet to turn outward in a relaxed manner. Scan up across the legs to the knees, noticing if there's any clenching in the upper thighs that could be released. Scanning to your hips, noticing perhaps if there's any clenching through the glutes that might be released as you feel the hips sink and settle deeper. Scanning over the upper body from the waist, over the low back, across the shoulder blades and up around the ribs and chest. A nice deep breath in will give you a gentle stretch. And a full breath out, imagine your shoulder blades leaving an impression in the floor below you. Scanning from the shoulders down across the elbows, releasing those arms, down to the wrists, maybe stretching the fingertips out. Imagine reaching the backs of the fingers to the floor, all the way through the thumb and pinky. And then relax that stretch and simply feel the backs of the hands leave an imprint in the floor. Scan across the back of your neck, maybe taking your gaze to the left and taking your gaze to the right, and then finding where the back of the head naturally settles as it leaves this gentle imprint. And finally, scanning over the top of the head and the skin of the face as you release tension between the brows and around the corners of the eyes and lips. And simply soften in. If your thoughts begin to arise, revisit that blank whiteboard that has only one single word written on it. And perhaps with your breath in, you imagine that word being written. And with your breath out, you imagine taking a step back and just reading the word. And then drift off into the feeling of whatever that word allows to arise in you, emotionally or mentally. But always know that if the thoughts arise and you start to attach your storylines, revisit the whiteboard with that single word, or perhaps blank space. Begin to bring your attention back to your physical body. Simply taking deep breaths to begin, and then allowing the breath to bring movement through fingers and toes, maybe through ankles and wrists. Stretching the arms in any way that feels comfortable, perhaps stretching the legs as well. And if it feels right, hugging your knees into the chest and rolling off to one side as you roll from darkness to light. And gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat with eyes closed. So as we end another week of practice together, I'd like to share a quote from Journey to the Heart by Melanie Beattie. She says, "Live with unsolved problems. Trust that the waiting part of change is necessary. Trust that your desire for change is the beginning of said change. Trust that each moment you are moving closer to the change that you desire." And so as we reflect on our time visiting the mat, whether together or in this peace and space of our own time, we are creating changes. And while it may not feel like it in the moment, as we progress through our practice, we'll find that that waiting has created the change that we desire. I invite you to draw the arms up overhead as you breathe in, allowing the palms to touch as you slide the thumbs to the center of the chest. I'll seal our practice with a single round of Om, inhaling. Surrendering your head to the heart as you swallow in the back of your throat. Raising your thumb knuckles to center forehead. All that is light and love in me honors and shines to all that is light and love in each of you. Thank you as always for coming to your mat. Namaste.